discuss the topic Identities, Influencer Culture, and Artificial Intelligence, the perspectives from the Gen Z. And I'll just give a brief introduction to the panelists, and then we shall be getting into the gist of the discussion. Next to me is Ishmael Abdelaitwe, a dynamic social media influencer and content creator with a very large following on both Twitter, on both X, and Twitter, and TikTok. Then there's my colleague Kevin Mugabi, the 88 ERC for SLNC, and also the 89 ERC for SLNC, and also the 89 Misinformation Minister. Then we also have Bella Twine, Director of Debunk Media Initiative. We also have Ayebare Agnes, a creative enthusiast and a student during the DJ by night, that's known as DJ Scatter. Then we also have Fiona Petruccio, a lawyer, digital content creator, moderator, and communications consultant. I don't know why the audience is so excited about Okay, to get into the discussion, we witness a daily interplay between online identities and the rise of influencer culture and the growing influence of AI in shaping Gen Z's digital landscape. Now, as the first generation to grow up entirely in a world dominated by social media and AI-driven content, Gen Z's face unique challenges and opportunities in defining their identities in a world increasingly shaped by social media influencers and artificial intelligence algorithms. So, we shall go through this so fast, and I'll start with you, Ishmael. Given the significant impact influencers have on our online experience, what role do you think influencers play in shaping people's interests, values, and beliefs, and how do you critically evaluate their influence? Briefly.
All right, thank you so much, moderator. And before I go into the question, in respect of time, I remember I held my first smartphone in 2019 when I was going to university, and since then a lot has changed. For example, you will find a 10-year-old, for example, with an iPad. So we are discussing these issues in a dynamic environment. Now, diving into your question, influencer culture and how it shapes perspectives of people. One, let's begin by understanding influencer culture. What's influencer culture? Influencer culture is the idea of individuals utilizing their online presence to drive people's perspectives and behaviors and the way their followers think. How it has driven people's perspectives. One, if you have a following, those people are loyal to you, they believe in you, they follow your lifestyle. Sometimes you will find your followers mimicking what you do. For example, if Sheila Gashumba posts a photo of herself at the Airprime's fashion show and her dress code goes all over, you will find her followers, one of her followers when she's at Yale Business Concert, she's dressed like Sheila Gashumba. So people believe so much in the influencers. And then, now with the coming of artificial intelligence, content creation is very, very easy. For example, if a TikToker was supposed to create like a video of Museveni, Joe Biden and Tony dancing, that would be very, very challenging. But now with the coming of AI, it's very easy to create content. Now with the ease in creating content, it makes it also very easy to influence your followers. The other thing is the way you curate this content. As an influencer, for example, me, I'm an ex-influencer, I specialize so much in X. The way we create content on different social media networks is very, very different. Now, comparing X to like TikTok, it's very easy to create content on X because, for example, X, I'll just need to check out something. On TikTok, someone has to have a nice smartphone with a nice videography to create that content. Now, as an ex-influencer, it's very easy for me to create that content. That means the how will also be very easy for me. For Scatter, who is a TikToker, it will be very difficult for her to come up with, that is not very difficult compared to my content creation. It will be a bit challenging for her because she needs a lot of things to do, but I just need to go type something out. So the how is very easy for me, and since the how is easy, my followers will be very, very easy for me to influence. Yeah.
Oh, thanks for that submission. I was scrolling through TikTok a few days ago and I found a video of a certain lady. She was in the video with her late dad. And she was saying that because of AI now I can be with my late dad and even get a chance to be with. I think that is so interesting. I'll then go to Kevin Mugabe. During the time as Information Minister, you were handling the Makerere University students, your Twitter handle. And we understand that social media platforms continue to define our online appearance. How do you believe they influence your sense of self-identity, and what implications does it have to your life online?
Thank you so much, Lax. Oh, sorry. Thank you so much for everyone. That's the problem of being interviewed by a friend and colleague. Like he said, I manage the Makerere University Students Guild account, and we had numbers skyrocketing from something like 10K followers to something like 20K as of now. So I have a basket of experience, especially in managing social media. I want to pick up from where Ishmael left it, especially about influencers, even before I get your question. And I want to give a real-time story about artificial intelligence and social media. I have a friend in this group. He's part of the audience. I'm very happy he's part of the audience today. And I'm going to allow him a little, especially when I'm starting my discussion about artificial intelligence, social media, and then influencing. Before we got into our papers here, that was like in May, we had a diaspora, we had some small space between our papers. So we took time off to, as some people are talking about Uganda, manual and stuff, for us we are trying to innovate in artificial intelligence. And my good friend Sebunya came up with a video about Museveni dancing. He was happy. So Sebunya posts the video online, and then he gets a call from somewhere, I remember it was from the EC, to do some infographics for voter mobilization in the EC. So then we are trying to connect artificial intelligence to social media. So what he didn't know is that putting out the video, for example, is going to attract a lot of people, because I even remember his video trended, it was even trend on X sometime. So when we talk about social media, I'm bringing this story because it's a real-time story, trying to connect to social media. So you asked about social media identity, how it influences significance. I want to say that what people tend to forget, especially in social media, is that social media and then real life are two different worlds, like some people would say. Either you choose to be the same person on social media and then real life, or you choose to be two different people. When I was managing the Students Guild account, or the Makerere Students Guild, I remember we had a scenario that we came in at a time when most people had transcended and moved to social media. So what we tried to do was to tap into this audience, for example, because Makerere University, being one of the biggest universities in the region, has a lot of students and you can't connect to everyone physically. So what we did was to utilize social media in trying to communicate, in trying to reach out to all these people. Yes, I want to say artificial intelligence in this way or the other helped us, and that's why we picked up so quickly to subscribe so that we could even use Grok as an artificial intelligence, as an assistant in trying to craft and come up with our content, especially online. Number two, digital identity. For people especially managing accounts, let's say of entities, we tend to face a challenge because you're speaking on behalf of an entity. In my capacity, when I was still Minister of Information, for example, I would say, rest in peace, Professor Barnabas Nawanga, and people would believe me. You get it? Yes. So people can't even realize that there's someone behind an account. People think it's the full entity. So being a Minister of Information, for example, you're carrying the whole government, you're carrying the whole university. And then we try to create something like visibility, people believing in what we say, people believing in what we do. So me, for example, waking up when the Simon is still on me, and I type rest in peace, Professor Barnabas Nawanga, go to me. People could believe. So it gives me a sense, for example, that for people managing, for example, social media accounts like organizations, they tend to have a certain sort of identity. Because you find some of these people and say, is he the man? Is he the boy? Because I used to move, for example, to say that and people are like, oh, is he the one? So I should never know what people expect us to be and what people don't expect us to be. If I get back to personalized accounts, for example, social media, I'm trying to make the identity of social media a little clearer. For people, especially, I will make reference to my dear sister here, Sata, especially for people on TikTok and people on X. There seems to be a national differences that for people on TikTok, for example, people fall in love with what they're seeing. But then for people on X, like Ishmael and I, people tend to fall in love with what we post. People tend to fall in love with our content and not entirely what and how we look, how we appear. So social media identity is a little complex, but like we were having a discussion before even this panel.
Okay.
Yes, I'm coming. Like we were having a discussion before this panel that it all depends on how you want to be identified as a person. Because there are people on social media who are chosen, they are would be identified, and in certain way, that's why even for kids that come, they tend to align with how they identify themselves. Because there's no way now you can give a gig, let's say you are influencing for the Parliament of Uganda, and you're giving a gig to someone who's already abusing people online. You understand? So it's surely a lesson, yeah, but social media identity, how you identify yourself on social media, surely speaks a lot of you as a person, because it's very hard, for example, to forge and try to take an identity of social media and then you be a person. Yes, it happens, but on rare occasion. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Dr. Kevin Mugani. I know most of the time when you start talking, you don't finish. But this interest of time, I want to go to Bella. Bella, you have led various AI project developments with the Bank Media Initiative. And I want to ascertain that as AI-driven content becomes prevalent, what do you think is the impact? What do you think is the impact of AI on your creativity and self-expression? And what opportunities or challenges do you see arising from that shift?
Thank you so much for that question. So I work with the Bank Media Initiative, and at the bank we have a couple of innovations that we're doing, inclusive of a fact-checking tool called the Debunking for Verifier. That was Akalango. In case you don't have it, you can download it on Google Play Store. So what happens when you are in touch with these tools is, yes, they are helpful, but also as people who are trying to fact-check information, we are still in charge of the tool that we are using. So we do not give it the ultimate power to take control of whatever information it is sharing with the public or whoever asks a question. We make sure that they actually sift through the information that it is going to respond to this individual that has asked a question. And something that Mr. Kalinaki, who was sitting over here, mentioned was building a large language model, which is the most difficult part when we are creating these tools. Getting research, making sure that there are experts also helping us. We reached out to a couple of people here at Macquarie University, making sure that the information that we're giving people is actually accurate. But beyond that creation, we've also still put emphasis on research, undeniable research. As journalists, we want to make sure that we are giving people verified information so that they can make informed decisions, which is our motto at the Uganda initiative. And I remember starting out when I was still here at the university, I would go look for stories. I think Mr. Prespective, I remember how to enter his lecture room 2 minutes late or 5 minutes late, coming from the field. But I also remember that while we were looking for these stories, also seeing Mr. Emma and Leona, who gave me some of my first stories, yeah? And I would go to the field, make sure that I have that story, that it is verified, the information is verified. But now, someone can sit in their office and still craft a story without meeting sources, without verifying information, which is very dangerous and also very, very heartbreaking to see that we are feeding people information that is not credible. So the other thing that I want to say is I'm a bit of a spiritual person, which doesn't go hand in hand with a lot of the things that we do in media and journalism. But I'll say that if you have a purpose and a calling, you do not want to give a tool that power to take over your purpose and your calling. So you have to make sure that as an individual, you're still creative, you're still thinking of out-of-the-box ideas, because you're going to use ChatGPT, Gemini, and all of these other tools. They'll give you some ideas they're giving to other 1,000 people, and you will be useless in this industry. So I just encourage everyone to be sure that you still pursue your purpose and your calling outside of this tool that is going to, manage your ideas and other people's expectations. And I was reading an article today morning from the New Yorker, and one of the guys who wrote the article said that it is an dehumanizing technology, because what happens when AI takes over is, instead of you portraying the AI, is that we have less expectations of each other, of the things that we read, and also the things that we write for other people to read, or watch, or consume. So it's very important that you stay in touch and stay connected to the work that you're doing, as an influencer or as a journalist.
Well, thanks a lot, Adriana. That was quite insightful. I'll then proceed to Ayebali Agnes. I said she's famously known as DJ Scatter. I always follow you on TikTok, though I don't understand the language, but I'm one of your fans. I want to sort of understand, just from what, I'll pick it from where Ishmael left it, that the people in the audience are always waiting to see what is our influencer producing. And then at the end of the day, they are most likely to be influenced and to take on the character of the person that they are following. With the following that you have on TikTok and your experience working with brands like Faras, NRG Radio, how do you blend the AI in your works? And do you even mind about the influence you're passing on to your audience?
Thank you, Mr. Zafaru. Well, I for one, I don't use AI in my work because it's original crafted content that I sit down, think about, produce, edit, personally, not with anybody. So, though, I feel like if I could employ AI in my work, it would become easier. Like what a former speaker said, writing subtitles. If you see my current videos, I have been trying to write some subtitles down for people who don't understand Rinyambole, to understand what work I do. So if I had AI, or if I could employ it, then that means I would find it easier to work better or make my work easier. But I don't use AI at the moment, and my audience still enjoys my work. So I feel like we can still do our original content and still perform our best work without employment of AI.
Okay. Thanks a lot for your submission. Wow, the influence can still show from me. I would then want to go to Fiona Kenvisha. Given that you are a digital content creator and also a lawyer, we understand that, okay, the world, the social media world is open. Everyone can do whatever they want, regardless of whether they know about the law or not. I mean, what has been your experience with the content that has been created by people and what they really are in their real life? I mean, last time I was watching a video on TikTok and from a communications expert, and he was saying that he was sending a message to communication officers of organizations, and he was telling them that we know you're not running those social media handles, it is AI running them for you. If we bring you here in front and we tell you to say out what you're typing on those socials, can you really do that? So I want really to understand that kind of experience of yours with the presence online and offline.
Thank you for your question, and can I just say I was privileged to be on this panel, which I believe I'm the oldest person. Yeah, pretty sure. So I've had the privilege of living both in the age of more analog and then also living in this time of social media. So I'll split your question into two things, because I'm thinking about identity, on and offline, and then also the legal aspect of things. So I'll talk a little bit about policy. When it comes to identity, I think one of the aspects I talked about individuation. I think that your generation, for the younger people, Generation Z, has the challenge of having grown up in a time where a lot of the things that are molding your personalities, your influences, your natural part of what you're becoming is online. Some of us experience both, and another generation experienced only one. And it can be challenging because having experienced both, I think that there's a lot of pressure, I feel, for younger people to be certain things or for your life to appear a certain way, because that is what you are receiving online, which is where you receive everything. It's where you entertainment, it's where you meet friends, it's where you date, it completely encompasses all these areas of your life. And so I think that there's such a responsibility there. For you as individuals, but also for the older generations to not remain ignorant with what is happening online. Because the older generations, the weeds, the millennials and so on, are raising children who are your generation. And so you can't not know that XYZ is happening on TikTok because they're giving you phones and they're giving you all these things, and now you have AI as well. So I feel like a lot of the responsibility goes back to the individual. You can only bring so much on technology. You have to step into it. I mean, you guys are adults. You have to step into the responsibility of what is it that I do online. How do I regulate what I receive? What are your verifications? Like, how do you verify what you're seeing on X or on Instagram? I noticed nobody said Instagram. That's how I know all this here. But how do you verify the information that you receive? Are you taking everything as an absolute truth? Because that's not the case. And I think there's something I would say I would want you to know, is that you have to continuously question, verify, even when it's just entertainment, or it's just, oh, this happened to this artist and so on. Small things ripple. It's easy to call me an influencer or her an influencer, but every single person is an influencer in their space. The 100 or 50 or 30 people that follow you are receiving what you give them as some sort of truth. Because we have started to take whatever we see on our screens as something that's true, that we forward to the next person and the one after that. So individual responsibility is really important. And when it comes to policy, it's great that we're in a room with policy because I feel personally as a digital content creator, there's a gap there. It's a fairly normal space. You know, we're still navigating what it means to be a digital content creator, or as we put it, an influencer. So when it comes to policy, I think that there's definitely room for us to be in those rooms, because what we do is still so new. So many people don't try to understand the science of what we're doing, which is the reason actually why myself and some colleagues started Kama Digital Content Hub, which I think is so powerful. But we're training people who do what we do it properly. Because there are ethics. When you become an influencer, a digital content creator, it doesn't really, it's easy to keep it in the arena of hobby. But is it when you have all those people that are trusting you, whether it's for entertainment or information or conversation? It's not. There's a duty that comes upon you, and so in that way, we are part of the media space. So training people like us in what we do in a way that actually has ethics around it, you know, that has professionalism, because we're not just doing gigs or WhatsApp people, we have contracts, okay? So when it comes to policy, again, I think my goal for policymakers will be to include us in the conversations that are creating the laws that are regulating what we do, because there's definitely an information gap in us explaining, you know, what do we do, how do we make the money we make, what kind of organizations are we working with, what is the value that we are contributing, not just to our communities, ourselves, but also like to the larger economy, because the influencer economy is growing more and more. What I make today, I wasn't able to make 2 years ago even. So those would be my thoughts on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kenny, for that insightful submission. Just in the interest of time, I would like each and every one of you here to give us a parting shot, just in 1 minute each. What is your message to the influencers out there? And with your experience with AI, what kind of advice would you give them? I know you have a very big following, and I would like you to, at least each and every one of you, your parting shot and kind word to the influencers out there. I'll start with you, Ishmael.
All right, thank you so much, moderator. Now, any advice to influencers, even the people in the room, learn about AI, yeah? Learn about new technologies. There are online courses that you can take, and even get certificates, yeah? You can learn from the UK or when you're in Uganda, learn about AI, then familiarize yourself with reading. For example, if I ask by the show of hands the people in the room how many people read those online policies before pressing I agree, it would be very, very few people here. Or how many people take time to read through things before accepting cookies. Every time you see accept cookies, you just accept cookies. But you know who cooks those cookies? Yeah, so you have to familiarize yourself with reading things before you can agree. And that also helps you in maintaining your privacy and everything. Learn, read, and read. Maybe one last one, self-awareness. Yes, I know we are in a dynamic world, as I started in my introduction, but you have to be aware of yourself. We have a challenge with social media. Social media trends and algorithms, they focus so much on the likes, the impressions, compared to, for example, people's privacy. I'm not saying they don't focus on things like privacy and then facts, no. But if, for example, you be paid on X, the good news is that now X influencers can be paid for just posting. Now that is a very big challenge for me and for every ex-influencer, because I need the likes. I know I'm going to journalism school and I'm not supposed to respect privacy. But if I get a video of a very, very prominent figure cheating on their wife, I will think twice. Thank you so much. So I will wrap it up. Speaking of self-awareness, yeah? So consider the likes. Do not consider the likes before people's feelings, yeah? look at where you grew up, where you came from, respect your neighbors. Now with the coming of AI, I can Photoshop myself with Kevin's crush. But how will that affect his feelings? I can Photoshop Muzaffar here when he's half dressed. How will that affect his feelings? So be self-aware, learn, read, and read for all the influencers and the people in the room.
Thanks a lot, Ishmael. Kevin, your parting shot, just in 1 minute.
Thank you so much, Simba. I want to say, I think this was the first thing I was meant to say before I got invited to this panel. I want to say, and I will tell everyone today in this audience, that you should embrace AI. AI is a revolution, it's a movement. We had a discussion, I remember it was the World Freedom Day something at Golden Glory, and then one of the keynote speakers said, artificial intelligence is not coming to take your jobs. People who know how to use artificial intelligence are going to take your jobs. I should say it again. Artificial intelligence is not going to take your jobs. People who know how to use artificial intelligence are going to take your jobs. I want to give you a brief story in 2 seconds. When Google launched in 2009, I remember I was in B4 something. It was a story I was told. I wasn't. I was told that when Google launched in 2009, I surely don't know whether it's there, but yes, I remember it was there. Very many people, especially journalists, feared for their jobs. They said, now Google is here, everyone can do research, and we're no longer going to have original stories. But see, Google has instead enhanced our journalism. It has helped journalism for the better, for the good. So, artificial intelligence is like any other sort of technology. One thing we need to do is to learn how to use artificial intelligence. Okay? I want to say this for sure, that we can have the same, for example, question to artificial intelligence, but depending on our different prompting, we get different answers. I've seen this on several occasions. I've seen people putting the same possible questions in a text-based chatbot, and then they get different answers. You're prompting. So artificial intelligence should be learned. It's a revolution, it's a movement. For you that industry, this is the 1789 of Europe in Africa and then the world. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for the submission. Yes, people will parting shot.
For me, I'd just like to caution everyone when you receive information, how does it make you feel? If it's sowing seeds of, anger, hatred, uncertainty, fear, you should question that information, double check it, make sure that any information that you question, you verify. Also, the other thing that I would like to say is most of us here as influencers and also media organizations, we rely so much on funding, but there's something called decolonizing funding. So what I mean is, who is funding your project, who is funding your campaign, who is funding your work? Because every funding has an agenda. What I appreciate about the funders that we have at the Bank Media Initiative is they give us free will and we are allowed to think on our own. We also make sure that we see who gives us money, you understand? If you have gotten money from a certain agency that wants you to promote a certain agenda, is that what you have in your goals or your strategies as an organization, as a university, as an influencer, as a journalist? Is that part of your reason as to why you're working or as to why you're existing? So if it's a no, then don't accept it. The other thing that I wanted to add on to the feelings that you get once you receive certain information is, you see, for instance, when we had that 20 billion shillings was going to be spent on regional cities, all of us were annoyed, all of us were angry. There's people who are going to amplify that and say probably it was actually more than 20 billion, but have you verified that information? You're going to be angry for nothing and probably try to do something foolish, like photoshopping someone or adding more fuel to the fire by posting on your Twitter or your different social media accounts. and you're amplifying, and verifying information. So you should just think twice and also verify that information. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Vera. I'll say we go to Agnes, your partition.
Well, what I can say is students and everybody else in the room, you should learn that you have a money-making machine every day that you walk. This is a money-making machine. And I can assure you that you can change your life by only one decision, doing what you know how to do best. And give it time. If you're shy, find something you can do. I told you you can employ AI and still do something with this machine here. Put yourself out there. The world is digital right now. So if you're still in your comfort zone, and I'm fine with this in my year 4, but I feel like I'm apologetic. I am earning money that some graduates are not earning at the moment. Why? Because I decided to use this tool to do what I love to do. Apart from the DJ, I am making money from influencing because I took action to become an influencer. So get out of your comfort zone, don't mind what people say, do what you want to do. Just do it unapologetically. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Agnes, for your partitions. Kemi, your partition.
Not to sound like a broken record, but what you said is what I was going to say. Embrace the opportunities and stay woke about the threats. Artificial intelligence, like everybody, probably every single speaker has said, is meaningful. It's a meaningful tool that you can use to create sources of livelihood that I would know, because it is my source of livelihood. I'm a digital content creator profession, and that is how I make my living. So stay woke though, as you do that, stay woke about the threats. When people like them are talking about debunk, verify every single thing that you are receiving from the internet. And in addition to that, just build a sense of self. And whatever that journey may look for you, your ethos is what's going to determine how you consume content. It's what's going to determine whether you're actually filtering what you consume, the kind of person you're becoming for yourself, but also for the community around you. So do not depend on the AI or the internet to tell you who you get to become. Use these tools to enhance what you already have. Use these tools, use artificial intelligence to put captions in your videos and the other 100 billion things it can do, but build a very specific sense of self, because I found that digital is such big believers in only 1%. If you can be a responsible citizen of the internet, then you can really do something for that 1% you affect and the one after that. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Kemi.